So we're continuing on with GamesMaster magazine from January 2000. We're now up to the PC section of the Trillennium part of this, which is basically a rundown of all games consoles up to January 2000. It was actually quite an interesting section, this, because it went a rundown of all the best games for the particular systems, which for the PC at the time, one of the best games was Command & Conquer. There it is. I also enjoyed and played Quake 2 on the PlayStation also. Moving on to the Commodore Amiga. Never got into this one. I must admit, it was a bit before my time. And the technology, I mean, 5 years ago would have been 2020. So you probably would have leaning towards getting the PlayStation 5 and the tail end of the PlayStation 4. 5 years ago, when the Commodore, and obviously the Commodore was coming out, it was like 5 years later, it was like the Super Nintendo, PlayStation, etc., which was a huge graphical leap. So yeah, moving on to the Atari ST, never got into it. PC Engine, I never understood what the PC Engine was, and for some reason there's a picture of, is that a snack? Not sure. However, I was a 16-bit person. So we had the Sega Mega Drive with the 32X system, which is basically a bolt-on on top of a games console. Think of it as the PlayStation 5 with the, which is a digital edition, which now has a additional disk drive attachment. It all comes round in life. It's one big circle. Back in the 90s, they were the in thing. Now they've all come back. And then obviously the beloved Super Nintendo. Owned one of these. Mario Kart, Donkey Kong Country 2, Donkey Kong Country 1 and Donkey Kong Country 3 were the games completed. Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Mortal Kombat 2. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Now, the thing is with the Super Nintendo, it had that factor of kindness to it, if that makes much sense. Unlike the Sega, it was always boasting about the power, whereas the Super Nintendo was the superior one in my opinion, mainly because it was the most I spent on a games console at the time. And I've run out of time again.